Hey everybody, it's Grumpy Grizzly Gamer. Uh, I'm just trying to set up my camera to figure out how to do this. So, oops, bear with me here. Literally, bear with me. I still can't. That seems alright, I guess, actually. Seems a lot better than it was. So we can hold it down. Like my eyes. You're being suspended from the light above me, so you'll see everything I do. I take it I'm not allowed playing music while I'm painting, so let's see. You're right here, all right. So I should put a big X on it. This is what I'm going to be working on here. I'm looking at working on some fallen angels here. I'm just going to paint. This guy's missing an arm. So, he's missing an arm. So I got to go to, I'm going to go see some Warhammer gamers because they generally have parts, leftover parts. I'm going to see if they have an arm, a skeletal arm or a regular arm with a great big sword that will roughly fit this guy. I'll modify it to go on, but it doesn't have to be perfect because it really doesn't. I've got a new paint mixer today. We're gonna open it up together, I guess. I went to go buy one somewhere else, and good old Facebook Marketplace. The place I was gonna buy it from was right near me, and I said, "Great, let's buy it." And they decided to not message me again after, like, "Great, when do you want to buy it?" And I said, "Now, or today, or tomorrow, whatever you want." And then I never heard from them again. So instead of buying something used and save the environment, we'll buy something that was already made anyways. And what is it? It's a electromagnetic mixer here. Why did I want that? Because I want to spin my paints. I feel, I've heard somewhere that if I spin my paints instead of shake them, that it will break up the bits and pieces inside them better. And I have a whole bunch of these little pills. Whoops. I have a whole bunch of these little pills that I'm going to drop right into the bottle. Let's give her a go. Wow. It holds it right onto it. It holds it right onto it. If I try and move it off, it actually pulls it right back. So I can actually be mixing a paint and letting it sit and mix. Well, I'm painting something else instead of my other one, which is also a very nice mixer that I have to hold stuff to. So, you know, half the one, doesn't the other, blah, blah, blah. But let's get to it and see how things look here. I guess I should change my water. I'm a bad painter. I know there's no one out there right now, but that's fine. You guys might show up. You never know. But this encourages me to paint, regardless if there's no one there or not. And I will every now and then look at my screen to see if one of you guys has shown up. So let's, where is that? There we go. This is just my silly little thing that's, just makes it base heavy so that I don't spill my paints, because if any of you have done this before, that's a thing that happens. That's a thing that happens. Oh, I get my glasses on so I can see up close. Gotta get my game face on, and here we go. I normally have some music playing, but I guess if I'm going to do that, the only way I can do that is if I put some headphones on, because YouTube is not happy about me playing Spotify as far as I understand it. I mean, I may not be correct. I'll say as far as I understand it, YouTube doesn't like Spotify being run. Now, these guys, I'm just painting them all over with this, just to give them that gray. But I think their heads have a little helmet on them, which will be a little helmet with a cloth that comes off of it, which will be changed. And that's fine, because it's just this gray that's going on there. I might do a gold, or I might do a heavy yellow onto them. These are fallen angels. They're still angels. They're fallen. But, so I want to try and figure out doing gray, because I want them to be fallen, kind of dead, undead, as it were. I'm going to push some guys back there, give me some room. And yes, some of these guys definitely got better, or different, I should say, different priming from the beginning, just because sometimes my primer airbrush was working really good, and sometimes not so much. Strangely enough, which is actually kind of cool and organic, is the press these models came out of is not always perfect either, which is actually kind of neat. Because that means that sometimes someone's arm is a little thicker, sometimes someone's fingers are a little more defined. Whatever it is. There we go. That looks good on them already. If anyone shows up, somebody shows up. If no one does, that's fine. I'm going to paint regardless. I mean, I would like to have some music or something on. I wonder if there's a website I'm allowed to. It says YouTube friendly music. I mean, I do have some royalty-free music that I use in my other videos that I could be playing right now, but it's on my big computer that I use for video editing, not my little laptop that I have sitting beside my paint station. And after these guys, I then have to figure out who's going to get what where. Actually, I know what I'm going to do next. I'm going to do some gold frogging, I think, on a couple characters from Odalin, to just give them a little bit of detail. I apologize if I swear or growl, but if you don't hear me complaining about detail, I'm not doing it right because I hate doing detail. I'd rather just hit these guys with my airbrush. Just 2 or 3 colors. Oh, whoops. Like, what is that noise? That is my spinner telling me it is still spinning, even though I took the paint off of it. Whereas the other one has a touch switch, and if it's not being touched, it's not switched on. So because it's new, I'll have to remember that. And this gray paint is also 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, there's the other one. Should always be values of 6 on these guys. 6, 12. Well, actually, kind of 3, 6, 12, 18. That's a value of 6. What am I talking about? We're painting, not doing math. We're going to be painting for the next week or 2, because after that, it's time to go off on a little road trip. And I'll be gone for the better part of a month. Might come home with some new painting supplies. Probably not, but it's always possible. Oh, I'm always so clumsy. When I paint, I hit stuff that's not supposed to have paint on it. That's not the biggest deal. I had a teacher come in to show me how to use airbrush in some of my brushes, and something we're talking about is, no one else is going to see the mistakes and the things but me, so why get so uppity about it? So that's exactly how I'm going to act about it. Why get so uppity? I don't need to. But for very obvious mistakes and stuff, I'm going to clean it up. And I like to use the water clean and then a dry brush wick away is, while I'm painting, one of my preferred methods of cleanup, because the paint's wet. It's not that big a deal. Yeah, it's already showing their bodies a bit better. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to use that gray anymore. Let's take those glasses off so I can see what I'm doing. So we're looking at, I'm going to move those guys out of the way here, back to where they were. Excuse me, gentlemen. We're going to do some of this, so I'll paint the snakes purple, the piece on his hands gold and brown. We'll do the shaft bronzy or brownish, the blade dull silver. It looks like the rest of them is wearing kind of a bluish, well, there's a better picture, I guess. Should have looked at that one first. A bluishy purplish cloak. Is it 2 different colors? Hard to tell. And he's got gray blondie beard hair. Well then, I guess it's the same kind of gold. Well then, let's start the snakes off with Magos Purple. Let's start them off with Magos Purple in there. Add a little bit of Luxon Purple. Some other spots. This cloak will be Azurban Blue. Or maybe I'll go to turquoise at the time. Okay. Here we go. The Magos Purple might be too light for the snakes. It doesn't have to be horrendously strong either. Might be just right with the way it's been primed. Please, if you guys are painters or know anything about this stuff, if I'm doing the technique wrong or I'm using my brushes in a bad way, please tell me. This is also the channel for those watching that know anything about this to correct my bad behavior. Yeah, I like to go back, and if I have too much paint in one area, I will use that paint to paint other areas. I usually get a little depot somewhere. Sometimes these highly detailed models really make me want to cry. Just because there is so much detail on them and they're already put together, and you cannot get into places, and stuff that you don't want painted a certain color is going to be painted a certain color because there is no other choice in the matter at that point in time. I don't know how to get you guys. I haven't set up studio or a camera or anything before. I'm not sure how to get you guys zoomed in or closer to the action. I guess you guys are okay where you are. It's not like anyone's watching anyways. So, video I did, I talked to a friend of mine. He said, you know what? I was telling them how I was painting, how I came to paint the minotaur I was painting the way I painted him. And I said, well, as I painted him, I had kind of a little story in my head about the minotaur being a very angry minotaur for a reason. That's why he was so angry himself, because, mom was a human or a cow, one way or the other, and dad was the other, and that's how he became a minotaur. And because the two of them were different species, and one had blonde hair and the other, the cow was tawny colored, and the human had blonde hair or darker brown hair, whichever way you want to go on it. He was a multicolored cow, and he hated the way his coloration was. He was always really angry about it. And so when I painted him, I had in my head what an angry cow he was at the world because of the way he looked. And my buddy said, I want to hear that when you're painting. He says, I want to hear your little story of your guys while you're painting. Do I have a story of this guy? Not really, because he technically has his own story, which I'm going to be bad and tell you I haven't read. So I don't know it. So he doesn't have he has a background. I just don't know his background. Why he looks like the way he's going to look, because that's just the way it is. Actually, no, I like that Magos purple on him. Maybe I need another layer. Another layer here or there, or maybe a darkening along the spines to create a little more of a shadow. And just run my brush back and forth through those spines to make sure the paint is in them. But you know what? It's really not half bad. So let's get to work on the other guy, who very luckily happens to be much more open than his brother, twin, other half, other end. Oh. Whatever you guys want to call it. Mangos purple, from what I've known, has always been really, really light, really not light like white. I mean, just very barely there kind of purple. I mean, we did use it for some infected tree pieces that had some, they had infection on them, and we used the purple along with a tiny bit of red and brown and grays for these mushrooms that were these infected, nasty poison mushrooms, spores on these trees. That looked really, really good. But even if I just do this purple on this snake and leave the rest alone for now, honestly, it will just even be that more impressive on the table when I put them on the table, because your eyes will be drawn to the black and white and the purple kind of monochrominess of it, and it will just really go over well. Yeah, I may just leave them just like this. Probably not, but depends how lazy I get. I'm not bothered or anything if no one shows up to watch. It's more just to make sure I do it. It's the whole point of me posting the video and doing this is to get me going, because I already have enough problems getting going. If I had someone to keep my inspiration pushed and moving along, then I would be all the better for it. If I had a little karaoke screen in front of me, I guess I could sing music instead of listening to it, and I don't think they could have a problem because I think you're allowed singing on YouTube, like karaoke. It's just to help my time go by, I guess. Well, paint, suck some paint up there. Let's take it off on these spines. We're gonna take some paint from the bottom there. Just do another little zoop there along those ridge spines. I mean, my paint teacher would say to me, "That's where you're supposed to be dry brushing," and I go, "I know, but I'm lazy." And the contrast paint just, if you remember, I'm definitely not an experienced painter. This is all I have for experience here. I do know about contrast paints is as you watch them, they tend to shrink a little and leave you with air bubbly white spots where you're like, I swear I painted there. And they're like, yeah, you did, but you didn't. Uh-huh. That was painted. I'm just put a little more purple on there because it was a little bit of a dark area. So just want to give a couple of these spots a little more of a something. That seems better. That seems better. Snake mouths are pinky red. I don't have any pinky red at the minute. Let me see what let's put that one back. wood brown. Thin layer of red for their mouth. I have a pink right there. Then I can paint a thin layer of red over top. I can do that, I guess. No. I also don't know how well that stuff can zoom in. Pretty sure I probably need a bigger brush with what I'm doing, but whatever. He's got all kinds of ropes and cords. I can paint the ropes and cords after. I don't really want to stain that stuff too hard, because the blue will stain those ropes and cords, and then it will be kind of a pain to paint them later. A different color, because it will come out over top of that color. I mean, blue? Maybe I'll do that one blue, and I'll do the other one the deeper purple. Then maybe I'll put the deep purple, a real thin coat of water down, and put it over top of the blue. But if I put a watered down red over top of the blue, it will make a purple. But I kind of want more royal color than a royal bluish color here than a purple color. I can go over top there. Sure, what I'd be told is I need to have a look at my wheel and see where purple and blue are. Oops, gotta flip the wheel around backwards. And I need to spin the wheel. Oh, helps when the wheel's not clipped. No, purple and blue are beside each other because they're both cool colors. So then I would want green, orange to go in to make the opposites. We'll see. I don't really want an orange cloak. Not at all. Oops. Blue on the treasure chest. That's going to happen. And I've got 2 treasure chests to paint too. Good gravies. Now this paintbrush developed a little bit of a hook on it. I actually use that hook as a tool to go around corners and into sharp spots that I need to paint, especially when I'm doing kind of side brush strokes, as it were, because I want to avoid painting all kinds of other stuff, and I just want to paint certain things. Except that comes up all the way there. Great. I'm going to blue all that into the arm, aren't I? Here comes the complaining about details, even large details. Even though I know I'm a super beginner, I'm a perfectionist in that way, and I hate it when I get it wrong or do an obvious silly thing when I just need to just put paint on. That's all I got to do. That's the goal. Just put paint on, dude. How do I get in there? That's where I need my hook brush, where I hate the rest of the brush having paint on it, because then I knock everything else blue. I got it, I think. All right. I think that's fur that I'm painting around right now, or something. That will have to be a different color other than blue. So that's what you're going to do. And again, the rule the teacher told me was hold it at arm's length away, not looking close up, because you know where your mistakes are, because you focus on them. Nobody else does. So, whoops, that is exactly what I didn't want to do to my brush. Get paint all the way up it so that when I accidentally touch something I'm not supposed to with the shaft, whatever, of the brush, I get paint on everything. That's shadow work, that's fine. Shadow work, that's fine. This is where I need to clean that piece that I got, the metal piece that I got paint on, because as I come behind and I touch things, I touch stuff with the metal piece, and that's where I get paint all over everything. This little beaker is actually from my airbrush set for mixing paints in, and has been sacrificed to the gods of painting. become my water piece to clean stuff off with. Oh, that one. This is my water scrubber. See, there's a little bit of blue on the chest that wasn't quite dried yet. I come along with the water scrubber, then I dry it off, then I take off all that water, put it back away. There we go. That can sit there though. That's fine. Right there. A tiny little triangle of hate. There's a belt across it. That's fine. Good enough. Oh, that's good. That was the paint, and I mean him and not the paint. That would have upset me. That's the brown. This is the much more vibrant purple, as it were. I don't know if you agree with me on that one. Let's see how this goes on the cloak. It's much different purple than the other one. I think the Magos is much better for the snakes than this was. Put a really thin layer of it across the snakes just to give the snakes a multicolored thing. But as my teacher would tell me, that's what dry brushing is for. Just for bringing out that bits of detail when you highlight one thing with another, because I'm pretty dependent on my contrast paints, because I am precious, but my understanding is you go actually from the low up to the high of where you want your paint to go, and I'm painting in the wrong gravitational direction, because I should be painting from bottom to top, because I want the paint to settle up, not down. And where's my little hook? Right there. I get that along that corner. Like that. Although if the paint swirls a bit or does whatever here, shadow, texture, it's whatever. Just gotta keep it off of his beard, because that will be super unforgiving. Oh, don't come across. That is That is wrong. That is wrong right there. Now this technique with the water is evidently another technique for using the water or spirits and oil, spirits and paint to get water to get into crevices you want. And it's actually one of the techniques I want to learn so that I can have it flow via capillary action into areas I want it to. Small, tight areas. Like recesses of weapons or now what's his hair? And what's his cloak? If I paint his hair purple anywhere and I try and do it another color, it's going to be super unforgiving, so I have to correct that mistake now before bad things happen. Just put all kinds of paint in there and use that to flow everywhere else. I'm evidently supposed to be brushing up, not down. So we'll try that. Just for areas that I can't. Blue and purple. I don't know. Cool thing about this is I can just paint over them. If I don't like it, paint it again. There's nothing inherently wrong with the blue and purple. Like I said, I might go for the blue with a really light watered down purple after, or red to make it purple. Or maybe hit it with the Magos. Hit this blue with the Magos too. Give it a purple, but I think hitting it with a light red might be better. Let's see if he has a cloak anywhere else. No, that's skin. That can just be shadow, that's fine. That's just shadow, that's fine. On to the next. I feel like that is not correct. Painting in silence is kind of weird. So I went with this later shade of brown, because then if I want to highlight it with something else, I'll actually use a darker shade of brown. But I wanted this to be more beach woody, off the actual beach, not hardcore brown of a tree, not a heavy wood. Putting extra other wood colors on here is easier than trying to lighten it up. Kind of taking the approach to painting as I am to cooking. You can add, but you can't subtract. So as soon as I make things really dark, it makes it really hard for me to come back from it. But if I only add a little bit, I can add more if I want. This is going to sound stupid. My channel was supposed to be more about airbrushing than hand painting. But I've got some issues with my airbrush at the minute, and I am not good enough to do these techniques with a airbrush at the moment. I just am not. So we will use this as I get to that point. Now see, I do that, and then I take my slightly darker go straight to say Wildwood, which is really dark. I don't think that would help me. I think I want to take now a little bit of this and just do some weird little, oh, that's way too much. Little wood lines. And it will mix itself, as it were, into the stuff I am working on. Go. And same on the other side. I don't know if you guys can see this or not. I mean, I look over at the screen every now and then, but with my glasses on, sounds stupid right now. I can only see close up. I can't see far away. So I can see the image, but it is kind of bloody blurred, which is fine. And for any lady watching at the minute, I need a lady to teach me how to put on makeup. And this is going to sound stupid, because makeup is very close to how you actually dry brush models and use certain techniques to paint. Is the same technique as applying makeup. And if I wish to advance my painting, I need to learn that. So that would require me to do a bit of makeup work. I had an ogress who I laughed at pretty hard because I had to paint her toenails and her fingernails. And she got her nails painted by me. There we go. See how that's now darkening into lines of kind of like wood on it? It's kind of giving me the effect I want. Is there any other wood pieces? That's more skeletal up there. That's more goldy. So then the strange question is asked. What is his skin color? It's kind of skin color. It's the light. Sorry. I know, that shine is not helping them. The light on that card. I actually think that little magnet mixer is fantastic for breaking up all the paint and the contrast medium that sits on the bottom. Far better than my vibration mixer. My vibration mixer just gives it an extra little oomph before I do whatever it is I'm doing. Yeah. And then I get my fingers in the paint, because that's what you're supposed to do too, right? All right. And Mr. What's your name? Nurgle is going to get his fingers in the paint, proverbially speaking. Always got to paint around the wrist as well. That's a place that hides in a shadow that is easily missed. Sick up the paint on the areas it's not supposed to be. Now, if I get this paint all over the place, I'm not that worried, because it will. It's pretty, when it dries, it's pretty light, and it will be painted over by their stuff fairly easily. Paint up. That's what I'm doing. I want to draw the paint up. But that only works if I keep the model or who I'm working on in the exact same orientation I want the paint to flow, which I'm moving him all over the place. This is not helping. I got to paint around that corner that I can't see or get to or anything else, because I bloody can't. There we go. All right, Nurgle baby, let's give you some muscles. Put it on thick so it flows into those areas where you have abs and muscles. And armpit. Armpit is important. You can't leave an armpit blank. Now, this jerk of a model has all kinds of blank spaces in between various bits and pieces, which I am going to scream and cry about because I hate that. I know those details are important. I know that's the way it is in real life. That, you know what? Painting that kind of trash is just on another level of I hate it, I hate it, I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. Did I paint back there? I think so. Some more across here. Give them a nice thick coating along those grooves of those muscles. When it settles in, it really settles in. Here's an elbow. Then you have to go searching for all the little pieces that are possibly exposed and turned purple. More blue, more stuff. That is not the way. Some say this is the way, and others say that 100% is not. Okay, face. Nose. Hair that's not supposed to be gone. Sometimes when I do this, I feel like a very stereotypical mom of the whatever time who uses the spit and the cloth of the shirt to clean up their child. And I swear I do it too. And these are my children. He's slowly making his way in the world. I think. Elbow, back, piece, back, piece, piece, under. Kit. If you really want to get technical, oh my good Lord. This is what happens when you start searching for things you shouldn't. go. There's that. 1 second. Oh, did it now. Sorry, battery was turning off on the. Battery was turning off on the thing, and then I dropped my Phoenix and broke them. Okay, I need some pink paint, I guess. See if I have any pink. No. Alright. Need some pink here. This is my wet palette. Wet palette? It's called wet palette. Well, it's being called a wet palette now. It's my wet palette. And now one of my biggest offenses is dipping my model into the wet palette as I'm working above it. I'm really good at that. Okay, stop painting his teeth pink, please. paint I put on there is generally better after I've let it sit there for a while. Because when I put the water on, it suddenly gets wet or whatever. It just tends to behave better. It's slightly different after it's been there a little while. And there's my hand into the paint on the other side of the palette. Now let's see here. Where's my toothpicks of doom? There's one of them. Let's see what this going on with this paint here. Honestly, I would probably really rather just airbrush the weapon, because then I know that a super thin coat has gone on without obscuring anything. This is where I'd want to airbrush, actually, is this piece that's away from the rest of the model. I can pretty much guarantee that I wouldn't mess up the rest of the model by hitting it with the airbrush. But I have some paint, some bronze paint, some bronzy goldy paint sitting on my wet palette from before, so why not just use it up here? And it seems to be fairly thin, so it's flowing along fairly nice, it looks like. It's not wanting to stick in large blobs anywhere or cause me any immediate headaches. What usually happens when I've custom made colors on my wet palette is I do a model and I have a little bit left over and I'm like, oh, that's enough to do this guy. And I run out and I can't make that color again. And then I'm really messed up. Yeah, I gotta carve out these insignia spots. So there's too much paint on them. I'm gonna paint this model with a little bit of Nazgul yellow after, or some sepia onto the weapon. It will sink into those recesses and light them up a little. Now, how far down is that? Does that stop there or does that go all the way there? Yeah, crackers. Gotta make a decision. made it. You bloody made it. Just making sure all my surfaces are caught. There we go. Bronzy goldish weapon. Although if I want to put gold over top of this after, I will definitely give it a little spray of gold, and it will sit over top of that bronze real nice. The bronze will already give it that yellowy metallic effect, and the gold will just highlight that even harder and turn it real goldy, if that's what I want. Because painting on a yellow or painting on something ahead of time, ahead of the gold, or a really lustrous white, although not really quite white, kind of a yellowy white as it were, seems to me to be the better option when I do stuff like this. I just gotta push along the paint out of those markings on there because I want to see those markings, and about down to there. Oh, well, okay. So there's that. Okay. Okay. Where is it? Oh, bubbly. Because he has a very golden crown and a piece on his armor that I need to do evidently very golden. Now, here's the thing when painting with gold. You've really got to watch what you do, because once you metallicize something in gold, it is the bloody Midas touch. It will be gold forever bloody more. So if I touch his face the wrong way, or if I do something that's not crown, I am a hooplad. Yeah, I probably really should have painted this yellow first. gonna be gold, but I might have to come back a second time to get it. Which again is not the worst thing, but it's just a pain. If I accidentally touch something else, even if I hit it with water, those sparkles from the gold will stay. Did I just... Oh no. I mean, it actually looked kind of cool on the serpent. If I could dry brush some gold. Huh. Dry brush gold along the serpent scales. That's kind of cool. But I stuck my finger into the stuff I was painting on the front because I'm awesome like that. Touched it to the other stuff because I'm awesome like that. You really try not to do that. I probably really should paint this yellow. I keep saying that. I mean, I could paint it yellow over top of the gold and then paint the gold over top of the yellow again. I know you can't see what I'm doing. But I have to paint gold just like the other side under his hand. shiny, other places that need to be gold. Things that make you go grr. Things that make you go grr, 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 yeah. Things that make you go grr. Not that anyone else would notice this. If I didn't do it, no one else would be any the wiser, honestly speaking. But it's just me being that way. That's what it looks like on the card. And it will bug me. And it will bug me. Dying over there that I had to do that evidently was supposed to be over there, but models are different. I don't know why I keep trying to use the same toothpick 6-8 times when I have an entire container full of them. It's not a big deal. did their skin.
That is looking really,
I
really
did their
good.
skin. And I've done him.
That's nice. That looks really good. I'll let you keep going because you're on video. So I'll get back to my food.
Not that anyone's watching. Actually, when you do that, when you go upstairs, you should look on the Facebook thing under me and click on it and see if it, because it's live on Facebook or what.
You doing live? Okay, I'll keep it up.
You can have a look and see what it looks like. All right. I'm going to put on a little bit of wood onto the haft thinly, and then I'm going to come back with Nazgul yellow to make wood lines. Sometimes you use light and go dark, sometimes you use dark and go light. Gravies. Trying to get behind these things is.
Yeah, I can see you on the phone.
Looks just fine.
Yeah.
All right. And you can kind of tell what I'm doing.
Yeah. Well, the image is upside down right now, but yeah.
Upside down?
Well, it wasn't the picture. You can.
Well, yes, because he's upside down.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see.
But if you know what the table looks like, then you know if it's upside down or right side up.
Yeah. Okay. I'll let you get back to it.
Technically, I need to get that Nazgul yellow in there while the other one is still wet. Did I get behind there? Not that anyone but me would be able to tell. Okay. A little bit of Nazgul yellow just to make some wood lines. Because the Nazgul yellow likes to stain some. It may not appear as much on that one. Or I didn't have it as wet. Leave it as wet as I should. Whatever. I'm not worried kind of the same color as his skin. Well, so maybe I'll go the exact opposite way. I'll pull up my wildwood. A few lines. Wildwood. Okay. Ropes going across. Who are you? On that one. Leather, Agrax, Gorfer. I have a favorite brown black color that I just need to find. There it is. Actually, while we're doing the light browns, why don't we do that chest down below? Or the two of them, I should say. Look at those chests out of the way. I know you kind of can't always tell what I'm doing because I'm moving differently from where the camera is. That's because of the light and how I can see. I did get myself a little magnifying glass that is on a arm. Problem is, when I go to use it, it seems like I have to stare through, I have to close one eye and I lose perspective to be able to see through the magnifying glass, and that is not helping me. Now these are snakes. They're not snakes, they're kind of a tentacle, but kind of tentacle are they for what I need to paint? I do not know. And there's this beautiful little pattern around the base. What color do I do the base? Technically not black, how you'd normally do it, because pattern would be lost to the black. And no, I don't think I can dry brush that out to what it needs to be. I hate painting through people's legs. I can never see what I'm doing correctly. I don't have the right light. I can't see. I don't have the right control of the brush. I just really dislike doing it. And yet, here we are. Sometimes I got it. Well, just fine. Those tentacles, they have a... Whoop. They have a something to them. That's disparaging. That's the way it wants to be, and I noticed I missed a little bronze piece in there. Evidently, it really wants to be bronzed right up to there, which I was not going to do in the beginning, and now I am. Sure, I've got all the bits and pieces. I might want a little extra where the brown has. Accidentally overcome. He's slowly coming together. I kind of want that to be darker, be drawn away from. Maybe we'll use that one then. Have this much darker, well, it does something funky. If there's high recesses, it comes out kind of blonde. If there's low recesses, it goes black. He's supposed to be a demon. He's supposed to be dark. Well, not necessarily. As you see, it's going dark in some zones and really coming up kind of brighty blonde in others. And that's the really cool bit about this one. Problem is, it really likes to stain anything else. I don't know if it's got some oils in it or something, but it will take over anything else as best it bloody well can, I tell you. But it really gives itself a really cool effect where you put it. It makes some really neat effects for dark and light, which is what I wanted for these tassels. Because it will show the tassels, but I also may stain all the blue if I'm not careful. I need to get enough on there to do it, but not enough to accidentally kill everything else. Because once you stain it, whoops, it's okay. The 3-foot rule comes into effect. When I hold this at arm length, I will not see any of the little tiny spots I did that I've done horrible things to. And no one's going to see the bottom, and no one's going to see the underside, and no one's going to see this angle or that angle or other things. So I need to stop worrying about certain silly things because it's fine. I just need to get paint on it. That's the goal, is just to get paint on it. And whether you guys are there or not, if I think you are, I'm more likely to get the paint on it. There we go. See, it's making those ropes go really blonde and black. It's giving them that real cool effect that I personally can't do now. Does that piece need to go blue? Now you're like, well, why didn't you do that on the wood shaft? because I'm not trying not to have everything the exact same color. Well, a bunch of my stuff seems to, I swear, end up that way. Raining out. Huh. I didn't think it was raining. Now, there you see. Made that nice differing colors in the back. This is one that does like to, the shine makes things suddenly look white when they are not. And then I go back and try and paint what I thought was air bubbles, and they never were. But that's my instant fur. And I feel like I want to paint his boots the same way, which nobody looks at the boots, generally speaking. So you're going to get it, bud. Maybe I'll paint something over top of this, or dry brush a gray or something over top to give it a bit more something. But I think this paint at this point in time will get it onto your boots, because I want to focus attention not to your boots, but to your top half into the snakes. So I got to draw attention away from your feet and more upwards. So if I just give your feet a dull, hopeful look to them, no one will even remember about them. And I can still say paint got on them, so they've been fully painted. It's not like they've just been hit with primer and forgotten. So let's get into that, shall we? Let's get into the Damon Rants and Raves portion. So I've been watching a painting competition on YouTube. I think it might be Squidmar, I don't know. Something, whatever it is. And they have some really great painters on there. I've disagreed with some of the things they've said about some of the painters and whatnot, but what do I know? But my disagreements are exactly this. One of the big things they said is, oh, you need to have paint all over your model. And I'm like, okay. And I'm watching, and a couple of the contestants do these backgrounds in cardboard or whatever they are, and they don't paint the back of their models. And it's super obvious they have not painted the models. And yet, these are the ones they praise, and then they knock down some others. Like, yeah, sure, your background looks really cool, but you didn't paint your model. Technically speaking, in Warhammer Standards, because you have a cardboard thing, can't put it on the table. B, you haven't fully painted your model. So I disagree with what they did. Now, on that note, I think they had to do that because I think they want viewers of certain viewership, and they have to keep certain painters on their program or they'll lose some of their audience, which I highly disagree with. I'm sorry. If a certain sports team is unliked by certain people just because of whatever, but they have better players, you don't have the referees disqualify them out or discount their points because you would rather have a team that other people like better in a game. So I'm sorry. If the team players or whatever in this painting competition are not doing things the way they're supposed to, get rid of them. That's the way it is. Just get rid of them. And the guy I liked, who actually did so much, yeah, he's chaos like me. That's fine. But I really enjoyed his paints. I really enjoyed his colors. I really enjoyed his style. I thought his style was really awesome, and I looked up to his style because it was something I could strive to. He was an excellent painter, but he did things out of panic is not the right words. They keep saying he panicked. Some people work better under pressure, under stress. And when he put himself into a stressful situation, suddenly his work got really good. They're like, well, you don't have your timing down, you don't have this, you don't have that. Yeah, but the model would get done and it looked really great. Some people just work better under stress, and they have to create a stressful environment if there's not one already to turn on their Dragon Ball Z power. So let it get done. And some others didn't put paint on their bloody model. Kick them out. I disagree with those ones. But who am I to take away their viewership? Because they need certain people watching because they do. Even in areas I know that won't get looked at, I try and make sure that there's paint there. Yeah, see? Oh, his boots look good. I like the way that paint, the blonde brown, goes over the boots. It sounds stupid. Oh, now that's something that is happening. Because I'm holding on to the snakes a lot, the paint is rubbing off in those areas. And I guess I didn't let the paint dry enough or whatever. And now I need to, that's okay because I needed to repaint some of these areas by the snake's head anyways, purple. And their mouth sides I missed. That's okay. It's generally just right down their ridge line anyways. That rubbed off a bit, which is perfectly fine. That's me holding on to them. Because I don't hold on to a base, because I don't hold on to stuff. I touch the model as I paint. I rub it off. Because I do. There we go. It's coming along. No. If I could focus the camera, I guess it would be better for you guys. I don't know what the camera's focused on. Ooh, bad focus. So, yeah. I gotta make the camera focus. Maybe lens is dirty. Let's see if I rub it with. Okay, until it clears up. Hold on here. Let's try this. Are we gonna focus any better? No, it's not gonna autofocus on me. I tried. I don't know why it's not that focused. The more I think about it, the more I think I'm going to use that Apothecary White. On his beard and hair. Jonathan. Let's see if I have board games tonight. What time we got? 1 o'clock. I may have to go break for some lunch or something. Huh. If you guys were there, I'd have you vote on what I should go eat. And then I could do it live stream of me cooking. My old chef ways. Won't happen. You guys don't want to see cooking? Barely want to see painting. I know you're all busy working and stuff too. Here I am. Actually, I think after I'm done this coat here, I'm going to let him dry for a while. And I'll come back. Let's see if I can not mess with the snakes. That I already messed with. All right. I think I got all his hair done. Close that up, close that up, close that up. Take off the glasses. We'll say back after lunch.